Hello, I promise I'll get back to a book club soon. I've just been busy. The heavens have opened in Sussex, which is a problem for me both personally and professionally. So I just really haven't had time to start up on the next month's book yet. So yeah, this video is a little bit on the fly, but you know, we're rocking with it. We've got a fire, all relaxing, warm, love it. And we're going to be talking about some nice wintry books to kind of keep us from having to go outside into the world. Sound good? Just a quick bit of admin. I'm hoping to maybe go for John Steinbeck for the next book club, just because I haven't read East of Eden or The Pearl before, so I thought it'd be a good opportunity. If you got any major objections to that, let me know. We'll scrap it. Pick a different author. But one thing I think is indisputable is that John Steinbeck is not a very wintry author. If there was any doubt about it, the recent cold snap has confirmed that we are fully in winter in the UK. And look, this is not the first time that wintry content has been featured on this channel. I could say, go read Snow Country and watch my video on it, or go read Hardboard Wonderland at the End of the World and watch my video on it. And like, I do say that would be good, but I don't think it'd be quite in the spirit of things to just bring those books up again. So I'm going to go through a few other books that I think really fit into this category of wintry reads. First off, Return of a Native by Thomas Hardy. I think, generally speaking, Thomas Hardy is not an author that people associate with winter. When you think of Tess of the D'Urbervilles or Far from the Manning Crowd, you tend to picture rolling fields of wheat or like a country fair. You don't think, ooh, cozy winter read. And yet, for me, Return of a Native is a book that screams winter. It's the story of Edgar Heath, a fictional windswept Wessex moor, and the repercussions of a series of poor love matches that take place there. Most prominently that of Eustacia Vi, a young girl who dreams of escape from this environment, and a man called Clym Yeobright, the titular native who has returned from his time away in Paris. For me, some of the most wintry novels are the ones that prominently feature landscape as a character, and this is certainly an example of that, with Edgar Heath being a constant reflection of characters' opinions and fears and love. It's beautiful and homely for some, and torturous in a prison for others. Not to mention this novel has a really great love pentagon going on. Yeah, a bit of a rare shape in love, a pentagon, with the perfect burning of emotions to keep you warm on a lovely winter night. I'd love to go through and talk about Hardy more generally at some point, because I have opinions. So if you, like me, weren't initially the biggest fan of Tess, then I'd really recommend giving this book a shot. It's much better, and it's a book I can see myself coming around to again and again every year. You watch a YouTube video in which a boy talks you through his favourite wintry books. He's cute as a button and gives you kind of smart but goofy vibes. But also gives you a bit too much of a rehearsed vibe for a video that's meant to seem a bit off the cuff. Perhaps you found this video through his Ishiguro videos. Perhaps you've never watched one of his videos before and you're not yet sure about whether this channel has longevity or not. You reach down to click the subscribe button. Relax. Take it all in. Breathe. Click. If On a Winter's Night a Traveller is an outstanding work of postmodernist fiction, and it's an adventure worth taking at any time of year, but it was designed first of all for winter, curled up on a sofa or in your favourite reading chair. Each chapter is a conversation with you, the reader, discussing how you're finding each individual chapter as the book goes off in an unexpected and interesting new direction. The narrative is always shifting and changing, and you, the reader, are the only constant. If this at all sounds appealing to you, I would definitely recommend giving this book a read. It also makes a nice Christmas gift for a reader that doesn't mind dipping their feet into a little bit of structural mischief. Italo Calvino is able to kind of trigger your imagination in a way that very few authors are able to. So yeah, I would thoroughly recommend it, whether to read yourself or to fill someone's stocking with. Listen, I hear you. What's with all this cozy cuteness going on? Where is the cold, harsh suffering of winter? Don't worry guys, that's something I have provided for you in this short novella, Ice by Anna Kavan. Ice gets categorised in many ways, as science fiction, as nouveau roman, as a proto-feminist work, or even slipstream fiction. It's the disturbing story of one man's pursuit of an unnamed woman through a kind of dying post-apocalyptic world. Details are sparse in this novel, and it really creeps inside your skin. This narrator is in pursuit of this woman who eludes him, kind of obsessed by her, but is unable to distinguish between dream and reality as a giant wall of ice slowly consumes the world. He's also trying to outpace the warden, a sadistic, abusive figure who may or may not be a representation of his own psyche. Anna Kavan was one of those rare talents that slipped through the net during her own lifetime. Her work was too experimental, pushed the boundaries too much, and it didn't really find an audience until after her death, when most of her novels were published posthumously. It's a shame that this novel, very much ahead of its time in 1967, didn't get the due that it was deserved. It's really a book that sets you on edge, that defies explanation, and one that will stick with you for a while afterwards. And I would definitely recommend it for anyone in the mood for a bit more of a spooky winter read. Next, we're heading up north. Nothing screams winter like remote coastal communities with perilous icy conditions, and that's what you get in The Shipping News by Annie Proulx. This book tells the story of Quoyle, a journalist who, after experiencing personal tragedy, moves his entire family up north to Newfoundland in Canada. He quickly finds a job at the local paper, the Gammy Bird. To his dismay, he finds he's put to work looking at car crash photos, or even more strangely, the shipping news. That's the title. The Newfoundland that Proulx creates is bleak and unforgiving. People are disappointed again and again by the promises of industry, of factories, and even of their livelihood, fishing. But this is above all a hopeful story. A story of one man's self-exile and how even in the most bleak of conditions, you can find hope that can begin a journey to healing. This book is funny and moving and educational. Each chapter starts off with a picture of a knot and a little explanation on how it is that you make it, which is very fun. Yeah, it really ties the book together, if you will. You won't? Oh. A perfect winter read. Very much recommended. The obvious association with Christmas aside, Charles Dickens to me just feels like the perfect wintry author. A very wholesome image of children and teenagers throughout the generations curling up by the fireside with one of his books, with their family all around them, it's just very wholesome, isn't it? Great Expectations is the one that I've chosen for today, and that is generally just because it's possibly one of my favourite Dickens novels. There was a brief period in my life that I was determined that if I had a daughter, I would name her Pip. I feel like that's more likely to be a cat name now. My main man, Charlie D, tells the story of Philip Pirrip, an orphan, and his kind of adventure from rags to riches, and the wacky and wonderful trials and tribulations that he faces along the way. As Pip's stature builds, events kind of spiral out of control around him in what is a most engaging tale. Dickens is one of literature's greatest creators of the side character, and Great Expectations is no exception to that. Most famous is Miss Havisham, the most wintry of all the characters, a woman who kind of lives in a musty room, only ever wearing her old wedding dress from when she was jilted at the altar. In my mind, she always had the quality of the kind of mummified old woman in the SpongeBob chocolate episode. You know, the one on the wheelchair. I don't know what that says about me in my imagination. Dickens' characters have always been capable of the most amazing cruelty and surprising kindnesses, and he really taps into the dichotomy and struggles of a firm class-based society of Victorian England. Great Expectations is among the finest of his works, and I definitely recommend it for anyone wanting a bit of a wintry escape story. Alright, I'm going to go read some more books now. I hope I've given you some inspiration of some potential wintry reads. As discussed, my next video is probably going to be about John Steinbeck, so I will see you there. Let me know what books scream winter to you. I'd be curious. Okay, thank you. Season's greetings. Football's coming home. Yeah. Bye.